and welcome everyone to the 35th episode of our D&D 5e campaign titled Roaches. Today's recap will be, as always, done by Lordwork.
Good evening, everyone, or whatever time zone you might be. So, last session opens with a large hand gripping Arahan's shoulder. The hand belongs to a giant, or some kind of a giant. And the giant is asking the party, or telling the party, that he was observing them since the moment they entered the crevasse, and asked them what they were doing down there. The party responded by, well, we're looking for or searching for waste blood, on which the giant responds that they doesn't have the substance, and also warns them to no to not to no longer go or get near to their settlement again, fearing that the the presence of the party would sooner or later bring down the demons that inhabit this plane. Apparently, they are on they're hiding from them. After which, the party makes a promise that they wouldn't, and the simply vanishes into thin air. Going a bit further, they spot in the distance a large structure, and the structure is in fact a whole bunch of monoliths that are placed in some kind of pattern. In the middle of it all is the largest of all those monoliths, and it's flanked by two smaller monoliths. And around those three monoliths, if you want, there are several groups of yet smaller monoliths, all in some kind of circular pattern around the central tree. The party goes closer, or gets closer to the monoliths, seeing that on many of them there is text written in abyssal, which Arahant translates as, some of them are saying, "We reject order, we reject good law, and we reject law, and other things that has to do with order and civilization and things like that." When they go to the central monolith, the biggest of them all, they find a crystalline object in the shape of a human-sized, anatomically correct heart. And it's the heart of that of, could be made of that of a human or a pig or some creature that has the same heart-like structure. And inside it is the heart, by the way, although it's crystalline, is beating, actually beating. Inside the heart is some kind of semi-viscous liquid, which the party recognizes as their goal, the waste blood. Mel breaks the heart. The content of the heart is poured into some vials from Arahant's alchemist supplies. And once the heart has been emptied, Mel tinkers a bit with it and makes some kind of a pendant that he wears around his neck. You never know; it could be of some use somewhere in the present or the near future. I'm looking through the notes. There are several other texts written on the three central monoliths um, that all reflect basically the same thing. Um, but one of them says we reject valor because it was valor that caused the golden general to fall into the grasp of the city. Another one says we reject charity for the charity, for by charity the false beggar falls in the grasp of the city. And the third one says we reject ambition because it was by ambition that the cursed sister put a curse on her people. So general gist something like they reject everything that has to do with society, culture, civilization, order, good and whatever, because all those and also some kinds of emotions, because those all lead or all led to some disastrous effects. Next was trying to figure out in which direction they would go, and for doing that, Mel starts to scan the region, and he finds high cliffs on one side and some kind of fog-covered location on the other. After some discussion, they decide to go to the high cliffs, meaning that because the cliffs are at a higher point, they have a better point of view, and it's maybe easier and safer to camp there because the chance for a surprise attack is a bit less than in a location that is fog covered. So they go to the foot of the high cliffs and make up their camp, and they take each of them a watch round. On Arhan's watch round, he finds on himself a tick that has the size of a child's head. The tick is slapped away and gets burned. And during Mel's watch, he spots several mosquitoes whom get squashed, and then one very large mosquito that is wrapped in tatters and landing in the vicinity of Mel. And when I say large, I mean really large. Um, Seeing that Mel does not respond in his language, meaning abyssal, he goes and starts talking telepathically to Mel. And the strange mosquito-like creature tells Mel that they have been drinking their blood, the blood of our party, to determine what they were and what their goal was. And sensing that the goal that the party has does not hurt their own goals, and even could be used to the advantage of those mosquito-like people. The large mosquito presents itself as Stigomias, a minor lord amongst his people, and his people are called the Colicoid. They are discussing some things, and Mel and Stigomias make a deal in which the Stigomias will grant free passage for the party to go through the domain of the Colicoids. While all this is happening, and Arhan is sleeping, Arhan starts to have one of his dreams again, but this time it's more akin to lucid dreaming. Yes, lucid dreaming. He's standing in a temple-like structure, Um, and around him are statues, a bunch of statues, and all the statues represent all the different demon lords. Not one, two, or three, all of them. And all of them are talking to him, trying to bargain with him, offering him boons like wealth, power, dominion, knowledge, etc. Arahant, who is ever the seeker, is very intrigued by the offer of knowledge. And there are several of those demon lords that represent that knowledge and are offering um, each one of their aspects of knowledge. And one of those demons, I think it was one that looked like an owl,
Yes.
uh, is called Alkam, the Lord of the Night. And he offers him, or he offers to Arhant the the knowledge of what Arahant is and why he is like that. Meaning, why does Arahant has those prophetic dreams from being a boy, and what it means, what he is. Is he human? Is he some kind of receptacle for something else? Whatever. The only thing Alcam asks in return is that Arahant would start worshipping him instead of his current deity. Arahant is very, very tempted by that offer and is almost agreeing to the bargain. But at the very last moment, he declines the offer, which enrages the demon lord that starts screaming, and the scream pulls Arahant out of his lucid dreaming and brings him back to the place where they are. Puzzled by this sudden exclamation or scream, because Arahant awakes screaming, Mel asks what he has seen, and Arahant tells him about his encounter with the demon lords and the bargain that they offered. After that, Mel is telling Arahant, and I suppose also Sauron, uh, relating his or relaying his encounter with Stigonias and their little bargain they made. And now the party is wondering what to do next. And here I give the word back and the scene back to you.
Yes. The party is wondering what to do next.
Indeed.
Well, you made it till the next morning. And the weather down here is still probably as close to pleasant as you could expect from this place.
Do we get a long rest?
Yes.
Thank you. And maybe I should open Roll20.
What? No, why would you do that? That would be weird.
Indeed.
And you're still camping out underneath that cliff.
Mm-hmm.
At least at the foot of that cliff.
How many days is it till we are teleported back home?
It's
I think we established 2 days.
I think it's 2 days, yes. Let's see.
A long rest means that I have to roll my important
That's
dice.
not it would be. Wait, if we include current day, it would basically be 3 days, maybe 2.5.
So my important dice are my important
Oh
dice
no, he has a
are
crit.
a natural 20 and a 14.
I will now, in every combat encounter, ask if you want to make any hit against your crit. Just need a reminder for that. Um. Well, there are basically like 3 real options for what you can do. Either seek out a Kishigal and his ritual side. I think you didn't write down the path you need to take in your recap.
No. Well, I do know it. It was we had to go through many domains.
Yeah, like 5.
Mm.
Starting with the domain of Stigomias, then into the domain of the Lord of Night, who you may also know as Alkan.
Mm.
Then through some unclaimed territory, through the domain of the Lord of Worms, who, while you may have met it in person, you probably don't really know her name. At least you haven't like really communicated, other than just offers being thrown at you.
Mm-hmm. And after the domain of worms.
After that, you would already find yourself in the domain of Akishiga, where he has built a Dome of Thorns. Which you may consider a very suspicious repeating image.
Well,
basically the 3 real options that I see, if you don't see any others, is either just try to hide out somewhere for the remaining days, or just randomly explore, or actively seek out Akishiga.
hmm.
Or Akishigal's ritual side, I guess, was the thing you were pointed to. There's no guarantee that Akishigal is there as of right now.
Can we tackle the 3 of us, the demon himself? Why would we even bother with Kishigal currently?
Um,
Would it be a certain death for us to fight a demon?
Um,
especially on his own domain. Then again, it's no guarantee that he would be there. It's
yeah.
only
You
we know
basically,
that it's his ritual site,
and
but
that there's something to be disrupted there, basically.
Okay, and what is it? Do we know?
Oh, now I need to actually differentiate between stuff I have told you and stuff I've written down that I haven't actively told you. What did I tell you about the ritual? I think we know that it has been happening under Dome of Thorns, and that he has brought a thing from the mortal world, from the material plane into here, and that, and I think that you taste similar to the thing. Oh, and that that ritual is part of a series of rituals to challenge the Lord of Hunger for his domain. The Lord of Hunger, whose name is currently misplaced. Lodwick, you're smart. You know it, right?
what?
The Demon Lord of Hunger. The Knoll guy.
Um, um, Yomugu?
Exactly. That is the Demon Lord who basically Akeshiga is trying to displace.
Displaced or overthrown?
Overthrow, I guess. So
Mm,
basically take his domain away.
yeah, okay.
Basically unifying that domain under his own banner. Or unifying their two domains.
Okay, so he have to confront this ritual so that maybe something bad happens and the mosquito people are planning to help us or no?
Uh, they are
Help
at.
us,
Oh,
help us in the sense that they will not hinder us if we go through their domain. But once we leave the domain of the Kulikoids, we have to go through three other domains. One of them is unclaimed, but the others is claimed by a demon lord. One of them is unfortunately the demon lord who wanted to forge a bargain with me, and that I ultimately declined.
So yeah, we need to fight through basically the
Fight or try to stealth through it.
wanna try to find an alternative path.
Mm, well, that's one of the reasons why why Mel wanted to go to the cliffs that are here just in front of us, to climb them, and from that higher advantage point, or have a better view of the region, and maybe try to figure out if we could get to the ritual site through another route.
Okay, we can keep going with this plan and try to avoid the zones that are probably too dangerous for us.
Yep. So, shall we climb the peaks?
I mean, yeah, that would probably be a good idea since we all can fly.
Oh yeah, that also works very well. If you just can't fly, yeah. So do you want to cast fly or do you just want to climb?
Why we even have fly if not use it? Let's cast fly.
Yeah.
Me and Mel and Arahant can cast it on himself.
Arahant cannot, because fly is a third level spell, and he has, because of his multi-class, he does has level 3 and even a level 4 spell slot. But the only level 3 spell he has is Remove Curse, because he has written it down in his spell book.
You had it, but you changed it, right? Or you never had any fly?
He never had any fly. I think we.
Hey, me and Mel fly pick up the flimsy structure of Arahant.
Yeah.
Done deal.
You casted fly on yourself and Mel, and you two were the ones who gripped Arahant and carried him over.
Well, what you see up there is a fairly unsettling image. As up there is a domain shrouded by greenish or green yellowish fog with a soft black soil, um, filled with you can't really call them dead trees, as the ends of the tree's limbs are actively growing into what kind of looks like disfigured humans that are just kind of connected to the tree limbs by their torso, or sometimes by their arm or their head.
And that's on the cliffs.
Yeah, basically on top of the cliffs after like a little bit of just walk. The entire domain had, or the fog, or through the fog wafts a sweet smell, not really unpleasant, and you can definitely see one or two of those ticks that you have seen before just crawling there.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, a lot of them also not crawling, and basically just consuming a tree person thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're not saving anything, right? We have too much on our plate already.
Yeah, indeed.
But since you are a moral compass of this party, I'm just making sure you are aware of that.
Well, the sooner we get to, if we can get in a timely fashion to the ritual site, and can mess with the ritual before we are called back, uh, the better it is.
Let's avoid the dangerous structure and fly past that.
Mm-hmm. We can. I, for one, would not like to venture into that forest. And I've already been attacked by one of those ticks, and it was not a pleasant experience.
I mean, you have been attacked, as in it attempted to attack you and
Yeah.
then just missed.
Indeed. But it still counts as an attack.
True.
True. So, Arhan, do you tell people about your dreams, or you keep it to yourself mostly?
Uh, Most of his dreams he tells his to his party, including the last one. I think he only kept one dream to himself. But that was way back, when we had another party, and it was several. I think it was one of his first ever visions that he got since the campaign started, and he only used the part that became relevant once we arrived for the first time at the domain, or the place where the Duke was, or where you could access the domain and the mansion of the Duke. But other than that, most of the dreams and visions he told to his party. So you should know many of these.
Okay, as we are actively flying, is this ritual site a big object with, like, I don't know, is there like a huge flames around it? Maybe, I don't know, sacrifice posts dug in the ground, something like that. We are looking for its citadel, maybe. What is it?
It is. It has been described to you as a giant dome of thorns.
It's like a shrike kind of thing. You know what shrike is?
No.
It's like this monster from Isaac Asimov books, I think. That it's huge. monster made out of thorns that has his own tree, and he impales his victims on the tree and they are still alive.
Maybe I kinda messed up one part of the description. I'm not sure to you or to the other members of the party as well, but it is a site for one specific ritual, not his general ritual site. So it's he's not usually, that much affiliated with plants or thorns or any of that.
I see.
Well, I've always imagined it as follow.
As
You have the flat ground and then, well, a dome made out of thorns, and that's it.
Yeah, basically. There's not much else going on there except the probably protective dome of thorns to try and keep people out.
Oh.
I guess if you consider rival demons as people. Usually people refer to humanoids. At least mortals, or I don't know. So you continue flying over the forest, and you may recognize another life form down there. I did actually manage to forget the name, did I? I guess I can just describe it. There are some basically a thing somewhere between a worm and maybe a centipede, large in size, with about 6 or 8 tentacles coming from its face, feasting on corpses. Anyone who knows about monsters usually knows of their or reads of them as tan colored, but these specimens seem to be darker, probably for camouflage reasons on the black soil. How are those things called again? Why is my brain lagging right now?
Millipedes?
No, it's a monstrosity.
Um,
Carrion crawlers. That's
Yeah.
it.
How many?
They the carrion crawlers. Usually, you only really see one at a time down there. Though, as you continue down further across the domain, I need both of you to make a wisdom save. After you have flown for. After you have made your way across enough land that you have trouble seeing the valley or crater or whatever you may call it you came from. Did you have advantage on that wisdom save?
I did not toggle it, but also there is a possibility that I could. No, it's on wisdom checks. Sadly, no. So it's a 9.
Yeah, it's on wisdom checks, not say. Well, Sauron. Sadly, you find the sweet smell that wafts up from below intoxicating, and you really want to follow it down to its source. Like you really, really want to follow it to its source. For it just smells delicious.
Hmm.
And what is and what is Mel doing at that point?
I would assume that Mel is still flying with you, so ooh, you would probably have to force him to go down with you, or I'm not sure if he can carry our hand on his own.
I don't know how strong he is, so
Does
Also, for
fly
that,
give
we
you
need to know how much fly can lift.
I think fly is just a normal carry weight. Or is it? I guess it would just give you normal traveling restrictions while fly is active. Because it doesn't say anything else. So if you're like overburdened, you move at reduced speed and stuff. So probably if Mel would carry. What actually is our hand's weight? I can just check how much carrying capacity Mel has left. Which is like strength times is it 15? I think it's 15.
it's 82 kilograms.
Lifting and carrying. If I remember correctly, yeah, it's strength by 15. Well, so Mel has the carrying capacity left of 3.38 pounds. So he would be overburdened. Yeah, it's remaining because he already is at like 146.62 out of 150.
Because of all his gear he's wearing.
What actually makes him so heavy? Obviously heavy crossbow, tinker's tools, their scale mail. I guess the silk rope isn't like super light. Not sure if 20 bolts weigh that much.
Our hand would weigh about wait a minute, 180 pounds.
Yeah. He might even be double over carrying capacity. So he would probably be slowly sinking down while trying to keep you to afloat if he tries to carry you solo. So You are most definitely bound by the whims of Sauron.
Although I have to state it before the dice are rolled. But could I use my 14 to alleviate
You could.
the 6 he rolled, which would bring him up to
17.
17?
Yes, you could.
Then Arahant will.
Okay. Then I guess you portentized your way out of it.
Yep.
Well, you both are still convinced that something down there actually smells delicious, but you know better, or you know better than to step into whatever is down there.
I see the two losing altitude, and I come back, grabbing back onto the Arahant, and I'm saying, I'm sorry, I don't know what came over me. There's something luring me down there.
We are on any demonic wastes. Who knows what kind of influence there is lingering in this realm? Could be ambient energy, the fumes, could be everything.
I don't really want to know.
It's maybe best for all of us to not know the details.
Well, as you continue on flying, the temperature drops, and it drops hard. From what some might consider normal to, what you would consider normal temperature to over the course of maybe 1 or 2 kilometers, it just drops down to probably minus 20 degrees Celsius. And that change is also reflected on the ground, where what before was a greenish fog is now sticks to the ground as a green yellowish crystal sheen. The 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 humans growing from the trees are now I'd say frozen to, you would assume frozen to death, or just at least frozen in place. And you see less creatures feeding on them, though some of them are entirely covered in. You would need to get closer to actually uh, probably discern it, but it's some sort of blue writhing mass. And you are coming closer to basically a bigger, or actually an enormous one of those trees, fully made from black ice, still with all its limbs ending in human-like torsos and such.
Mhm.
If you
How
make
much time would have passed
Like 20 minutes, half an hour? Yeah, well, maybe closer to 20 minutes.
Okay.
If you were to maintain your current course, you would basically be going straight ahead into that massive tree. Or over it, I guess, and not into it, but yes. Fly lasts for an hour, right? Oh no, it lasts for 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
Oh.
No, 1 hour, I think.
I thought so as well, but it says 10 minutes. At least the thing that someone just posted says 10 minutes.
Let's see.
Yeah, it also says 10 minutes here. And I really thought it would be an hour.
Yeah, indeed. Concentration up to 10 minutes. Well.
In that case, I would actually allow you guys to retcon if you actually want to continue flying into there, like using a second spell slot.
You really
just-
want to step into that? We will just be taking short break, recharging my slot, and flying.
I'm not sure if you can short rest while flying.
I can go on a suitable piece of land, take a short rest, and fly again.
Okay, so you want to... So you want to land in said forest.
I mean, there's probably an empty space in there somewhere.
Yeah,
In any case, we are in the forest, walking or flying. If we walk, we have more dangers than if we fly and land down now.
okay. Then you probably then land down the before you enter the icy area. Just by the time, just by looking at the time that fly lasts. And you take cover underneath a few trees, keeping watch for any of the strange things crawling through this realm. Though you are caught off guard as one of the humans growing from the trees talks to you. Or probably closer to talks in your general direction, saying, I need to be consumed. Don't you see? Don't you see what must be done? Don't you see my succulent flesh?
You want
That's
us to
fucking
eat you?
creepy. I can't eat you, but I can kill you if you wish.
Uh, after their one outburst, it mostly just continues to groan instead of forming any coherent sentences.
I would love to give this forest a final death, but I'm afraid that the gardener who planted this garden would not enjoy it, and I don't want to attract any attention.
And also, I do not think that we would manage to burn down the forest of an entire domain.
Yeah.
And as you are discussing, another one of the human things turns towards you and says, don't you want my delicious fruit? Don't you want them? And rips up its stomach and uncovered in blood. There are various exotic fruits falling out, and for some reason the first example for exotic fruit I wanted to give was a pear, but yes, there's basically just fruit covered in blood just tumbling onto the ground. And the same delicious smell emanates from them.
Are we throwing wisdom resistances right now, or
No.
are those the same fruits that
No.
people was fighting for?
These look like actual real normal fruit. Like they at least from the surface level, they look like normal fruits you might know from like a marketplace or anywhere like that. Though maybe the colors are a little bit more vibrant.
Arahant, because we are having a short moment of rest. Arahant is a bit intrigued, and will take one of those fruits. He will go into his backpack, and he will get out his alchemy kit and his what do I have? I know that I have my alchemy kit, and I think and also an herbalism kit. So he will take those two kits, and he will using a scalpel and things like that. He will cut in it, slice a piece of it, and try to experiment on it to see what is it. He's intrigued by it. Is it just a normal fruit? Is the inside riddled with maggots or worms, or is there some kind of strange fluid in it?
From how it looks, it appears very normal from the inside. Though, did you say what kind of kit were you using? An alchemy kit?
Alchemy kit and herbalism kit.
Ooh. You could, I guess, just give me an intelligence check with either of them.
Okay.
Let's say for the best possible result, you would need an 18.
Okay. I will use my alchemist's intelligence. Here we go.
Well. The most unusual thing you managed to figure out about the fruit that pertains to the nature of the fruit itself is that it seems to exude some kind of, not really a pheromone, but something very, very similar. I guess from the, I guess, medieval, or probably from your point of knowledge, you would probably consider it a pheromone.
Mm-hmm. A kind of a lure.
Yes. You don't notice any poisons or anything like that. Its makeup seems to be mostly, you know, the usual fructose, cellulose, and though for some reason also just a lot of animal protein,
Hmm.
but it doesn't seem to be spoiled or anything.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of just the sum of its parts, it seems perfectly edible.
Mm-hmm.
I would not eat it, my friend.
Oh, I was not planning on eating it. I was planning on studying it, which I've just done. Um, and although it resembles a normal fruit, although it's quite some animal fat and nutrients in it, I think I found the source of the sweet smell that we encountered when we flew over the forest, because the smell is coming from those fruits.
And as you talk about it, on one of the fruits lands a singular blue moth.
Hmm.
And it just starts draining the fruit with its proboscis. Proboscis, I think. Is it proboscis in English? I think. Uh, yeah, it's proboscis, not. Yeah, it's proboscis, not proboscis. I don't know why that word was in my head.
Mm. Well, that's the name that is that's more the scientific name
Yeah,
that they use for
yeah.
the mouth or tongue-like shape of insects.
Yeah, basically it just starts. It just sinks its tongue or yeah face appendage into one of the fruit, and then another one joins.
And what are those?
Moths. They are,
Moths.
yeah, blue moths.
Mm. Arahant will, aside from the little pieces of the one or two pieces that he experimented with. The rest of the fruit he will throw out. And then I suppose the moths will go will go to that fruit and start sipping its nectar.
And quickly, all the fruits are basically covered in a mass of moths.
In a mass of?
Moths.
Ah, okay, yes. They didn't waste any time.
Yeah. And once all the fruit is basically devoured except for the skin and cellular walls and just left as a pile of dry material, the swarms dissipate and yeah, the moths fly off.
This is one strange place.
Though the nature here has its own scary though magnificent beauty.
That is true. It's a unique biotope. Something you would expect from a plane that is demonic in nature, or maybe not, but
As an explorer, I truly enjoy to find things like this.
I found it fascinating to study, to have the opportunity to study one of those fruits. I'm quite sure that none of my peers or others in our plane has ever had the opportunity to see and research them. So it's a nice addition I could write down in my memoirs once all is settled.
Is there any trouble during our rest?
As weird as it seems, there isn't.
It's a strange forest, but it behaves like a normal forest, but with a strangeness to it. In the sense that it's not out to attack us or things like that. It's just being what it is.
Yeah, made out of people.
Yeah, that's well. We are on the demonic plane.
True. And there is basically no reason for this place not to be a nightmare.
Yeah. After your short rest, I assume you continue on flying.
It's actually up to people. If you would like to travel by foot, though I'm not sure if all flora and fauna is as tame as it is right now.
Before we landed, could we see that the landscape was about to change or not?
You could probably see that the landscape is about to change to a way more cold environment.
Well, we could start flying again, but on the other hand, from the air we saw that the landscape is about to change into some kind of frigid waste. So maybe it's a good thing to start getting our warm clothes out that we bought before we came here.
May I recommend that we maybe take a 5-minute break so I can refill my water?
Okay,
Yeah, I would like to grab my food too.
Yeah.
no problem.
Yeah, we'll be back in a few minutes. Yeah. And we're back. I think I kind of interrupted Arahan in something that he wanted to say.
No, I was just making a sign.
No, like when I announced the break, you were kind of about to say something.
Yes, only agreeing
Mm-hmm.
that we agreeing on taking the break.
Oh. Well, do you continue on foot or through the air?
If we would continue on foot, how long would it take to go from one area to the other?
To like that icy part,
Mm-hmm.
probably another 30 minutes maybe. Or to actually reach that big tree thing in its center.
Yeah, the food part is okay. If there will be something we can try and hide.
Well, it's an icy wasteland, so.
Well, as you continue on moving, there's something very strange you notice. Strange in a. So, those people growing from the trees, the closer you seem to get to that big tree or just to the cold area, the more attractive those people get. And not as in the wanting to eat them because they smell delicious, but actually in terms of just looking physically attractive.
So the more we advance in that cold era, the more aesthetically pleasing
The people
those.
arriving from the trees look, yes.
Okay, very strange.
And that effect actually makes a rapid jump forwards at the point where they actually don't move and are just frozen in place. Where all of them you would consider pretty close to the peak of conventional attractiveness.
Mm-hmm.
But now you are again, or this time actually in the very cold area where it's 20 degrees negative Celsius.
Fortunately, we packed for it.
Yes, you actually did.
Because we asked before we went to the plane what we could expect, and one of those things was best to with great temperature fluctuations to have some clothing against the cold. So they are coming in very handy now.
Yes.
And Once arriving at that central tree, everything is frozen. Everything is it covered in ice or is it made out of ice?
Well, the formerly wet black ground is now frozen in place, although the frost doesn't actually seem to reach very deep into it. So on some of your steps, you actually crack through the icy layer and yet again sink, and yet again your foot touches a black mud. And also the whole place is covered with that greenish, dusty substance, now glittering on the floor instead of being fog-like. So you want to move basically next to that tree.
Well, Arahant is at least curious about it. He will, however, take one of the small little vials from his alchemy supply and with a little small spoon gather some of that frozen green dust and put it in one of those small test tubes with the intent, once they're out of all that thing and back on the material plane, to start researching it a bit further. Theorizing that the fog they saw and that substance is the same thing, but because it's way cold here, even below freezing point, that the fog has simply crystallized to small little ice crystals.
Yes, they are actually small little ice crystals, and they're small. It's all, they almost have the texture of glitter dust.
Hmm. Well, he collects some in a small test tube and puts a lid on it.
Well, as you do that, you, I was about to say you almost don't notice, but it's pretty hard not to notice one of the roots of the giant tree lifting up. And on the underside of that root, there are a lot of moths similar to the ones you saw before, feasting on the fruit, though these ones all the size of a human or larger. All just basically, yeah, with their backs or their wings turned towards you, just yeah, on the underside of the tree.
Those moths.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think now it's time to do another wisdom save. That's a 20. I think from you too, Sauron.
Rolling.
Rolling, rolling. Well, you once again feel yourself drawn to something, though this time not by a delicious smell, but just by a curiosity towards those giant moths currently attached to the tree's roots. And yes, you are spending, or if no one wants to do anything about it,
I'm not sure I can.
Would Arahant notice that first, if Sauron wants to take a closer look, that's not very alarming, at least for Arahant, because he did. Arahant himself was interested in those fruits and did some studying on it and experimenting on it. But when he sees that or would he see that the interest of Sauron becomes quote unquote unhealthy?
give me an insight check. Let's say DC 12.
No, that's a religion.
As Sauron moves towards, or begins moving towards the tree's roots, you see that he seems entranced or maybe hypnotized or just not really walking normally, not looking around in a normal way, just single-mindedly walking towards it.
Mm-hmm. I will, upon noticing that, he will go up to Sauron, grab him by his shoulders, and or at least go in front of him, grab him by his shoulders and shaking him a bit, saying, Sauron, come back to us.
No, I will let him repeat the wisdom save for that. For I am a kind GM.
My wisdom saves has +3, by the way.
I know. Oh.
I am tempted on using the 20, but if I do that, if you have another another saving throw, there is no.
Well, do you or do you not?
I will.
Okay. Then
you have a natural 20.
Yeah, now with a 23, you actually start seeing seeing the danger or the situation you are in clearly again, and step advancing towards the lifted roots and the giant moths.
Sauron, are you back with us?
I look over the roots and moths and say, I am very tempted to attack this thing right now. It's not the first time I feel this way. We need to get the hell out of here as soon as we can.
Well,
As you say that, one of the moths spreads its wings and lifts off and turns around facing your direction. There's which reveals that the creature is definitely not a normal moth at all. As it possesses maybe not really human, but human-esque female face, young, probably about 20 years old, of light bluish skin, though its mouth is fused into, well, a butterfly like proboscis, and said proboscis is covered in blood. And as it, or now I guess we can refer to it as she, and as she looks toward you, she says with a incredibly shrill voice coming through the facial appendage, why would you deny our gifts?
What language is it?
Common.
I'm not from this place. The gifts are not for me.
and we are not what was the word you used?
That Salmon used, not from this
No,
place.
denying. Yes, that's it. And we are not denying you the gifts you want. I have no intention of disturbing you in your feeding process.
Well, you see, your you see, mortal, your warmth. It disgusts us. Another one turns around. This one with the face of a shriveled up old woman. We need to rid you of the warmth. Yes, you should embrace the cold. Become the cold. Yes. Especially the... Like, what is actually Salwan's skin color? Is like gray, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's bluish gray.
Especially the gray one over there. He would be so beautiful as part of our garden. Yes. And you, and the old-faced one points, or can't really point, but it at least looks at our hand. you would make best as one who consumes the cold. Though you may also join a garden if you want.
You mean the garden we just left? The garden covered in fog.
Yes. Isn't it beautiful?
Um, let me see. Let me see. Arahant will use the cantrip Prestidigitation to cast a small flame in his hand. And holding it closer to towards those moths. So you do not like heat.
Yes.
Okay, well, in that case, you see that I can turn my hand into fire. That's but a mere trifle. I have at my disposal magic that could create an entire forest fire in this entire era. So it would be wise, if you do not like the heat, that you leave us be, and we shall take our leave and continue trotting on.
Give me an intimidation.
Oh,
I guess with advantage.
okay. Intimidation. Okay, with a -2. Here we go. With advantage, it's a 13.
Your tricks don't impress us. Vessel.
Well, in that case, if the warmth of our body is indisposing you, we shall take our leave. And still keeping the flame on, Arhant will start moving away from the tree, trying to, if it is possible, come to pass around the tree and then continue on until this through this frozen domain up until the next one. But keeping the flame up as a kind of a determined, surmising that they do not like heat or fire, and that the fire is possibly a kind of an assurance for Arahant to be left unharmed.
Well, am I going to? Does the prestidigitation flame? It actually also causes heat, right? Does the prestidigitated flame? Is it just an image of a flame, or does it actually also emit heat?
No. It's it does emit heat. It is a flame.
I mean, it may be a cold flame. Who knows?
No, because you can use prestidigitation to lit or snuff out a candle, and even make a campfire. You can even set a torch aflame or a campfire aflame.
Well, in that case, you can give me a dex save, as while attempting to leave, your feet sink in deeper than before. As if the warmth from your flame is even the melting the surface level frost. Well, you manage to get away from them without actively tripping up. And I guess I don't get to do something evil.
So I could also help you because I can prestidigitation myself.
Okay, now there's two burning people walking around the tree.
I mean, it worked for Arahant, didn't it?
True.
So yeah, I will also ignite my flame and follow Arahant step by step.
But I guess then you can also give me a dex save as you start sinking in harder than before. To see if you maybe trip up.
You mean my the permafrost beneath my feet?
Yes.
Wouldn't it be just sinking it harder already?
No,
Or is it a tree doing something?
No, because you produce the flame, so you now emit more warmth. So you actually.
I mean, not enough to melt the permafrost, but okay.
Well, it was.
The save can be arranged.
Oh well, look at that. Like I said before, before you had even before you had the flame, your feet would sink in from time to time a little bit with the ice beneath you cracking and some of the black mud flowing through. But now, every few steps, or as you walk, you almost feel the ice underneath your feet melting. And on one step, you break halfway through the ice with your foot, uh, the tip getting caught on another plate of ice, and you trip with your flame. Basically, with your flame hand, I'm assuming you also have that flame in your hand, right? Just like our hand has. With your flame hand touching the tree.
Okay.
And the tree doesn't seem to like that. There's now a small burn mark left, and the entire structure seems to twist and turn, and the at the center of the tree's trunk, it just starts to almost uncurl and open, revealing a giant. Well, now you can't really even call it a moth, as it is an almost fully humanoid creature with 6 moth wings made of ice. There's and the rest of its body closely resembling a light blue-skinned elven woman wearing a dress spun from ice. Said the only thing, or well, the two things that would make you not believe that she is an elf is, for one, those 6 wings, and the second one being that it is a huge creature. And said woman now looks at you and says, "Why would you disturb my sleep?"
I will just be a cheeky bastard. I use my ability to disguise myself as I make my face look the same way the one of the 3 people looks, and I say, I'm sorry, there must have been a mistake. And yeah, of course, the prestidigitation fire is put out already.
You buffoon! Don't you realize that I need this? That I need sleep to maintain my beauty. What was that warmth that you carried?
There was intruders. We needed to defend. They wanted to attack. They wanted to harm you, my lady.
Intruders like that thing. She points at our hand.
I assume Arahant is at a certain distance already while I'm trying to climb out of this swamp.
I mean, you really only sunk in feet deep. The problem is that kind of next to your foot is hard substance again. As the ice just melts.
I'm
Yeah,
stepping
very
away
quickly.
slowly from her as I'm nodding.
Well,
and
she's
Arahant
still
is,
at the center of the tree. She isn't really next to you at all.
and Arahant is a certain distance from a tree too already, right?
Yes.
Yes, but they are running away. See, my lady, they are running away.
No, give me a deception check.
That can be arranged.
I think this guy itself probably gives you some sort of advantage on that. Or, no, it actually is more of a prerequisite to actually be able to do it.
My deception has +6.
She now spreads her wings and slowly descends from the tree towards you. Or I guess it looks slow. It looks slower than it actually is, for she is a huge creature. And who do you think that you are?
To me or to Arahant?
To you.
I'm but a battle rider, says Sauron and casts invisibility on himself.
Why? Okay. Well, she at least continues descending rapidly. I guess now she's flying full on. Why would you think you can deceive me? As she's now basically swooping down towards at least the position where she last saw you. And I need to check out the range of... Okay. Wait, how does this work again? I'm assuming this goes through invisibility. Ba, ba, ba. Invisibility, illusions, yes, okay. And as she swoops down, she says, do you think your magic tricks can fool me? As she now advances towards you on foot.
Me directly or the place where I was?
She already landed on the place where you was. Now she's approaching you directly.
I mean, I'm running.
Honestly, how interested is she even in you? I guess she will try and throw one thing after you before
Losing interest.
yeah, before turning away and losing interest. Does this have enough range? Oh, there's a 30-foot sphere around her. I need a thing to throw. Um. Oh yeah, this works. And she points at you, causing a bloom of that yellow, that green yellowish fog to erupt from the ground, covering you in ice. And I want you to make a Constitution save, as your
No,
skin is fully
no,
covered
I'm
in
going
ice.
to make. I'm going to make a counter spell.
Oh, you're making a counter. Okay, that works as well. I guess you will have. I guess you will have to roll for that counter spell. The DC would be 17.
My attribute is charisma, right?
Yes. The DC would be 17.
Fuck you.
You actually counterspelled a 7th level spell. Good job. Well, does that just piss her off more? It's a big question.
and I keep running. Yes, of course. And please, Arahant and Mel, don't don't stand on one place. Run too. I hope it goes without saying.
Then run away, if it pleases you. Just know that whatever you will find beyond here, that whatever death you may find beyond here, will be far less pleasant than this one.
That's a matter of an opinion. But
What an insistent lady.
Well, and you just start
We will
booking
need-
it.
We will need a short rest again, lads.
Didn't you only spend one spell slot for now? You didn't fly
I've
again
spent
after
an
the short rest.
didn't
Invisibility.
I
Oh, yeah.
cast an invisibility
yeah.
and then counter
yeah.
spell?
Invisibility. I forgot.
Well, when Sauron is running up to Mel and Arahant and is joining them, or coming to catching up on them, Arahant still with his flaming. Although, once the distance between. Are there other trees in the vicinity? Yes or no?
Yeah, the normal small trees. Yes.
Okay. And those are easily avoidable in the sense that you can
Yes.
meander through.
They don't really stand close as if to form a normal forest.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, once he's out of the big tree, he will extinguish his flame. And seeing then Sauron catching up with them, he will turn around and say, "Oh, Sauron, good, good of you to join us. Let's move on." Clearly, Arahant is oblivious of everything that happened. Way too focused.
And I'm like, did you see the lady? Did you see how I counterspelled her and she was like so upset?
A lady. Huh? If you're referring to the frozen humanoids here, then I
No,
suppose.
no, it's like they had a mom and she's like huge and she climbed out of a tree.
Fascinating. And Arahant turns his head around and looks at the big tree that is now at a certain distance, I suppose. Does he see something?
You
or not?
still see that woman in there, and then you see the tree just slowly, basically closing around her.
Interesting. Did you have a nice chat with her?
She almost took me. I barely escaped and she can see through invisibility. I don't know how you can, but she can.
Oh, yeah, you didn't turn it off yet.
Yeah, yes, indeed.
I mean, people, he can probably still see your footsteps from time to time just cracking the ice, and once you start leaving the ice
hooves,
again,
you
just sinking
you
into.
can see my hooves leaving prints on the permafrost.
Yeah, I forgot he was invisible.
And also you can see how I'm sweating while I'm running away.
Well, what a nice encounter that was.
It was benevolent. It was harmless.
It just offered you. It just offered you to. You know.
Peace and rest.
Become part of a beautiful garden, and you just. You were so unkind. Well.
Blame it on the fact of being human.
Blame it on a boogie. Don't blame it on the sunshine, and don't
No.
blame it on the moonlight. Just blame it on the boogie.
Oh. Well, soon enough you you get back into the more swampy area of the forest again, and as you continue to walk, you avoid most of its, or basically all of its denizens with relative ease, as they don't seem to be all that interested in you. Neither the carrion crawlers, nor the ticks, nor whatever else, or nor the mobs. Yes, that's the third thing. And you actually, over the course of another hour, make it to the edge of the forest. And now you have a problem. Because the edge of the forest is also a coast.
A coast.
A coast, yes, before you light an ocean.
Frozen ocean.
No, a normal ocean. I guess not really all that normal, as it is, as the color is slightly wrong because it's red, but yeah.
Really crimson red?
Yes.
Could Arhan surmise it's maybe blood?
It could be. Do you want to throw something in it?
If it's blood, we will smell it.
He will he will put his staff into the tip of his staff, and he will dip it into the water and pull it out and see if it sticks on the on the tip of his staff. Yes or no? Because blood has some kind of viscous nature, so
Well, there's no blood stuck to it, but there's now a hand stuck to it.
okay.
And that hand is still attached to a body.
And the body is still attached to the ocean, or they are in the process of unattaching?
They are in the they are kind of now the torso is now kind of poking, or not poking, but like sticking out of the ocean, and you would with relative ease recognize the creature as a Sahuagin. Which just stares at you. For at least a
What
second.
is that creature?
A fish-like creature.
Yeah, the fish like basically shark people.
Arahant will try to butt it with his staff, trying to convince it to let it go, and saying also in common, well, let go. It's my stuff. It's not yours.
um. Give me one reason. Just wait. They only speak so. I guess this one is actually, yeah. This one has to kind of be common. Give me one reason.
I was just trying to to ascertain if the water here was water or blood, and I did want to touch it with my own hands.
That doesn't sound like a reason to let go of the staff.
It's
Why would you
mine.
even why would you even poke the water with the blood with the stuff if we can smell if it's blood? The smell is incredibly fucking strong. Like
Well,
and all this breeze on the blood, it's probably smells like copper in here.
No, like I said, it isn't blood, so it doesn't smell like copper.
It isn't blood, or it is blood.
It isn't blood.
It's the blood color though.
Yeah.
Okay, I come closer to the fish and I say, get off the fucking stuff, you fish. And I intimidate it.
Of course you intimidate the fish. Give me your intimidation check. What even is the usual thing to roll against an intimidation check? Probably like a wisdom save. That seems to make the most sense.
I'm not sure it's an opposite roll, but okay.
I mean, it may also just not be. Yeah, that actually is an argument. Um. He lets go of the staff.
Good
Arahant
boy.
takes a few steps, and Arahant takes several steps back.
I am here to deliver a message.
Go on.
To whom?
To you.
Us?
You.
Specifically?
You specifically.
Me?
Yes.
Arahant is genuinely stunned and how do you call it? Befuddled?
Yes. Well. Great Shamosh doesn't think kindly of you. Vessel who spurned his offer.
Was one of those gods of knowledge, demon lords of knowledge, I think. Shamos.
Shamosh was the one offering you the knowledge of warfare and tactics, I think.
Well, you see, my knowledge, my preference in knowledge goes to the arcane and the divine, not the more militaristic nature. I did not mean any offense.
And what do I care about your wants?
I suppose nothing.
Maybe even less than that. All I am here to say is you may have been given a semblance of protection, or your friend has, but you are not welcome in Lord Shamosh's domain.
You mean I am granted some protection?
Not you. Your other friend. The quiet one with the crossbow.
Oh, that's new. And I turned to Mel. Mel, fish people like you.
Says Sauron, it's probably because he carries a weapon and he's more militaristic than we are.
Why do you like him so much, Fish?
I don't like him. I am just forbidden from touching any of you or harming any of you while you are outside Great Shamosh's domain. Because that one has been given protection by well, by the will of the wastes themselves.
The who?
The will of the wastes.
The will of the wastes themselves, indeed.
It's this demon they have.
No. You. Why would I even explain this to you? Just know that you have been warned. And then he dives underground.
Underwater.
I said underground, yeah, underwater.
You never know. He can have a tunneling speed and a burrowing speed. It is the demonic waste. So anything is possible down
the
here.
fish just starts burrowing in front of you.
Well, there are fish that burrow themselves in the silt of the bottom of the ocean or a river. So
well, you have been warned.
Indeed. How should we envision the coast? Is it just here you have the icy forest and then
well, like I said, the icy part of the forest was ended after a relatively short distance. After that, it's just the same as at the beginning of the forest, with it just being, basically just being swampy. And it ends relatively abruptly. There's no like sand or anything. Some of the trees literally have like roots that have been washed out and are like reaching into the sea, basically.
So this is the place we needed to avoid, right? For you to step in that water is to declare to all the fish that you are like fish hater or something, and they will do fishy things to you.
That That is a description of something. I'm not sure if that's a good description.
So it's maybe best that we keep walking on this beach and keeping our distance from the water.
I don't know, man. All this business smells fishy.
Well, we are no longer on our home plane, so the laws of nature and are are different here.
Yeah, we are like mackerel out of the water here.
That's the way of putting it, yes.
I still can't believe you resisted the urge to bonk the fish with a stick.
Besides, my staff is a gift from my teacher. I received it when I quote unquote graduated from her tutelage. It was her gift to me to show that I had started to walk the path of a wizard and no longer a wizard's apprentice.
That's a sweet stick you have there.
It's a staff, not a stick. And by the way, in the staff is worked in the diamond and the pearl, which is used to cast the 2 spells.
Oh yeah, so it's like a revivify last chance you have in your hands.
No, it's to cast a spell called Chromatic Orb. At least the diamond does.
Hmm.
The pearl, I can use it to magically identify objects and spell effects and things like that.
On a side note, Arhan, did you just offer us to walk around the ocean, not to step into it and walk around it?
Well, this is a coast. I suppose there is a beach. Is there a beach DM?
In a way, yes. You can walk around the ocean. I mean, you can theoretically walk around an entire ocean, but only very theoretically. It will probably take you a while.
There is a spell for that, but I do not have it yet.
Oh, that sounds like you are again thinking about your accepting the offer to become a lich.
It's Orcus.
You were frozen there for a bit, at least for me.
What I said was after you said that you're
Okay, what's going on with Discord? Oh no, it's my Discord crashing.
the bargain of Orcus
Oh no.
or frozen.
My Discord is currently lagging a bit. I don't
Mine
know.
too, but I suppose it's just Ludwig.
Could also be. Anyway. Yeah, but I got the gist of what you said. Um, well, I'm assuming you then continue your way along the coast.
Yes,
Um,
surmising that the domain of Shamos or Shemos would be the sea.
that is a pretty good guess. Um,
So as long as we do not step into the water, we should be at least safe or relatively safe from the Sahuagin. But of course, what dangers are there on the beach? That's another. There's another thing.
well, as you may now actually walk for a while, what travel speed do you want to go at?
Seeing that we are on a time limit, and if possible, we would like to reach the shrine before we are called back. I would say normal pace.
Um, yeah, so 3 miles per hour roughly. Yeah, it would take you about 3 hours before you see at least a change of scenery.
Mm-hmm.
Things are actually suspiciously quiet, as in not as in you don't hear any sounds, but as in you would expect to be attacked more. Something about this just seems wrong in a way.
Fishy, you could say.
So, one thing you actually see along your way is once the rootwork of one of the trees is basically completely underwashed by the sea, the tree just starts to slowly on its root walk a few meters further inland. And then places itself down again. That's one of the things. And the other is you finally see the edge of whatever domain it is that you are currently in. Only to see something possibly worse. As what you see now is
Lava?
no, not lava. That would be funny though. How do I properly describe it? So, what you start to see has multiple layers. So the first thing you see is the walls of maybe a city or town. Um, the inside of it, or in the middle, in the center of it, you can see a huge white or maybe how would you call it? What's the color again? Ivory colored castle.
Mm-hmm.
And as you step closer, maybe over a small hill, and see the foot of the town's walls, you see that the entire foundation of the city is basically a squirming mass of undead that just very slowly move the city along the ground.
would Arahant surmise or think that this could be the domain of Orcus?
I mean, it's one of the better known sites. Give me an Arcana. I was about to say Arcana because of Orcus. My brain is just. My brain
Well,
is
it's a new skill, Arcana.
just all the lore pertaining to Orcus.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, Arcana. Here we go. It's my best stat. So. Okay, 23.
Ooh. Yes.
But I
This,
rolled low. It was only 12.
this is very clearly the domain of Orcus with his castle made from bone.
Arahant will relay that and say, gentlemen, in front of us is the domain of a demon lord that rules over undead. And unfortunately, it was one of the 3 demon lords that offered me knowledge. Or knowledge about certain things. And I refused it. So if I was warned specifically by a Sahuagin, that I was not welcome because I have turned down his patron, I'm afraid that the same will be applicable to me at least, Oracle, yes, at least, in this domain. You may have free passage through it, but I'm afraid I will not be able to enter it. Or if I am allowed to enter it, it will not go well.
I mean, we walked around the ocean. We can walk around the castle.
How big is the city?
By the way, the ocean hasn't ended yet. There's still the ocean to your left. The city is kinda. It's almost hard to well, it's not hard to describe, but basically the undead are just carrying a layer of soil in front of them and just kind of using it to slowly push the ocean away and move the city across the ocean in a way. Or not across the ocean, but just basically move the ocean away.
So they're carrying the city.
Yes.
That must be a lot of undead.
Like I said, it's basically enough to fill the entire foundation of the city.
Arahant is muttering, maybe I should have acknowledged Orcus and his secret to immortality.
Well,
he's muttering this slowly, so it's possible that the other two that Mel and Celeron are catching it, but he's more muttering it, speaking to himself than more like a kind of a self-reflection. Maybe I should have gone with Lichdom.
well, in Sauron's head, just the words of the woman who he counterspelled just echo, still saying, "Beyond this domain, you will find a far less pleasant death." as you're now stuck between a blood-red ocean and a city of undeath.
I have a feeling this place is not a good place.
But
Your
yeah,
feeling is not wrong.
it is technically possible to walk around the city. It's definitely smaller than the ocean.
But what's around it? The ocean is on one side. What is on the other side?
Ooh, on the other side of that city. I know what's behind it.
For the moment, we're on the beach.
Yes. How would I describe that domain? Wait. Behind that is the domain. I can't just say whose domain it is. Basically, to the side of it, there is a little bit of empty space or of nothing, and behind it, there again is some sort of forest. Though this time it is a thick forest of trees that very much seem alive.
And with alive, do you mean the trees are moving, or they are normal trees that?
They have leaves.
Hmm.
It actually seems to be the trees actually seem to be blooming.
Well, that could be our next destination. I suppose there are hidden dangers, but that the same can be said for every part in this domain here, in this realm. But from my point of view, it's preferable than, and he's pointing at the city of Orcus, to that. Although I have to say, for a wizard lichdom,
Do you think you will have your own free will after a demon grants you lichdom?
That's also true, but imagine the untold magical power you could wield.
Yes, but it's maybe me, but being a passenger in my own body would be unacceptable.
Don't you worry, Sauron. I will not. It's only. It is tempting, but I will not. I will not falter. I have refused all of them once, and I will continue to do so. I have found faith in the great catfish of wisdom, and I am still holding tight on that faith. So as long as I do not waver in my faith in the great catfish of wisdom, I should prevail somehow. So do not worry.
So you're going around the city.
Can we sneak through the city? We don't really need to attract much attention.
Through the city? Or
Around the city, of course, because, well, yeah, I don't want Arahant to die.
Just as you say the word sneak through the city, all the
Yes.
like skeleton archers on the wall just start to look at you questioningly.
I come to bargain with your master.
Although I'm not even sure how much orcs like skeletons. That skeletons tend to be lawful.
Well, he can command them, so they
Ooh.
are all his trolls. But yes, we are contouring the city,
Well, and as
giving it as wide as a berth as possible.
as you move through the and as you move through the gap between the forest and the city, or when you say as wide above as possible, do you actually want to go like very close to the forest, or do you just want to walk through the center between those, basically, so that you are not close to either?
Arahant would choose more to the center of that space.
Um,
Once again, hidden dangers, you never know.
and as you
At least,
do that,
yes.
you stumble across something buried in the ground. Um, it is a giant, broken, or ripped open eggshell, and with within it there's a singular small pearl, or not small, but small compared to the egg, but probably fist-sized pearl.
Mhm. Inside an egg.
Yeah. Um, the egg is not really. The egg is drastically more oblong than a chicken egg. Kinda, maybe similar to a turtle egg or something like that. I think those are long, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure those are long.
No, turtle eggs are
Oh no, they
perfect.
are perfectly round.
Yes,
What's
they're
the long
perfectly
one?
built.
What's the long one again? What crocodiles?
Have you ever seen the? It's not really an egg, but wait, let me Google it. Yeah, it's called a devil's purse.
You mean a shark egg?
Yep,
Um,
it looks
well,
like a head crab.
honestly, in shape, it's probably closer to like an ant egg. Yeah, that would probably work.
All right.
And yeah, it's basically empty except for just a pearl that lies in there.
Arahant will. Let me check.
I have a mage hand if you need me to do it.
I think he also has a mage hand. He is a wizard.
Yes, I have mage hand. Yeah, he has a magnifying glass in his inventory, so which only gives mechanically advantage on investigation checks. Um, but he will try to he will pull it. He will look at the egg and try to ascertain if he could divine its origin, or at least with its origin, I mean, which creature would be capable of placing an egg of that size,
Give me a nature.
especially with a pearl inside it.
Um, it's very obviously not a mundane creature. You, although, uh, you now know the specific act it reminds you of the most. Uh, which is not that of an ant, but that of a fly. Just your average common fly, just scaled up by a factor of probably a million.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even more than a million. They're fucking small. And that thing would have probably been at least a large creature when attached.
Okay. Arahant will point out and say, "Those are big flies."
Flies do not commonly lay pearls, though. But
No, indeed.
you can give me. I mean, you can check out any other, kinds of knowledge.
Mm. Well, it's you calling the shots, so I can give you.
You can give me whatever knowledge check you want, basically, and my answer will kind of change depending on the kind of knowledge.
Okay. I will go with Arcana. I could go with religion. My religion is as good as my nature. Yeah, Arhant will go with Arcana. Here we go.
Um, that's just a lot of very similar numbers.
Yes, indeed.
Well, the one thing that Arcana allows you to do is actually be a weaker version of detect magic, as in it can like identify an object as being magical, and it kind of also functions as identify. And that pearl is not it is a magic item. It has not been created with magic, but or not been magically created. It has actually been enchanted and probably placed here. It's not magical by nature. It has been made magical by someone. So it probably doesn't belong in the egg.
Could it be meant to be a trap of some kind?
Oh yeah, and probably I can also tell you the type of magic, which would be divination.
And it's a pearl the size of a fist.
Yeah.
Arhant will cast Mage Hand and try to pick up the
You
pearl
pick up the pearl.
with Mage Hand.
Yeah.
So he's keeping a distance of 30 feet.
Yeah.
Does it go boom?
No.
It floats in the air, carried by a spectral hand.
Yep.
Or a magical hand.
Yeah. Do you want to inspect it further?
Would Arhan be so bold to... I mean, knowledge is his thing, so he has a thirst to understand his surroundings and to accumulate as much as much knowledge as possible. You know what? He will. It takes 1 minute, by the way, or 11 minutes if you do it as a ritual, in which he has to, during all that time, to has at least to touch the pearl. He will first gingerly touch it a few seconds and then let go. So he will approach it with his mage hand.
Well, you don't even
Close
need to
it.
touch it. Once you stare at it for a continuous 15 seconds or something, you start to stare through it and you see something on the other side. You see a mountain range. It's it has 3 peaks.
Mhm.
I guess, depending on your definition of peak, but the rightmost one being the highest, which is actually snow covered at the top. The middle one being the smallest, and the left one being the medium-sized one, while also not really having a, a spiky top, flat, like peak, but it very much looks like a volcano with an open top. And to the left of it, there is there's a massive tree overhanging a cliff. That massive tree stands out amongst the other trees in the otherwise forested foot of the mountain range because it is literally the size of the smallest of the 3 peaks. And as you continue to look, your vision or the picture focuses in between the left volcanic peak and the small peak in the middle, and on the side facing towards the volcano, in the smallest of the at the foot of the smallest of the 3 peaks, there's a cave, and your vision just keeps getting drawn towards the cave until you literally just see its entrance, and then it just doesn't really move any further.
Mm. Arahant will relay all that information to Sauron and Mel. And describing what he's seeing in that fist-shaped or fist-sized pearl, which he now thinks must be some kind of crystal ball or something like that.
But you don't know what it does.
Well, I can touch it for 1 minute and discover if it's, well, it's magical. That's for sure. But casting an identification spell on it could possibly teach me more. But my guess, my first guess that I have to make would be some kind of divination tool, or at least a vision orb or something like that. You know, like a crystal ball in which you can see things. I do not know if it's an actual image of an actual place. If it's only that image that can be seen in this pearl or this ball, or that it's just an image presented to me at the moment. You know what? With the mage hand, Arahant will bring the the fist-sized pearl into his place it in his hand and keep it in his hand and start casting the spell Identify.
Probably ritual casted or normal casted.
Well, even normal casting takes 1 minute.
Okay.
So ritual casting would mean 11 minutes.
So ritual casting, or
yeah, I will take that risk.
well, at the end of the 11 minutes,
In which he must be touching the object, otherwise the magic cannot take hold.
You ascertain that this pearl has been enchanted with very specific magic. Because it will show one place, or it will scry the one place, and not just an image of that place, but like the way that place currently looks. If it is touched by a humanoid which hasn't been affected by the madness of any demon lord, while it shows a different location or image to either a humanoid who has been affected by madness or any other kind of creature. By the way, does identify all? Oh no, it would be all objects you touch, so you wouldn't be able to also identify the eggshell with it.
No. No, it's only the object I'm touching and holding. Identify. You choose an object that you must touch throughout the casting of the spell. It's a magic item or some other magic imbued object. You learn its properties and how to use them, whether it requires attunement or not, and how many charges it has, if any. You learn whether any spell is affecting the item and what they are, the spell, I mean. If the item was created by a spell, you learn which spell created it. If you instead touch a creature throughout the casting, you learn what spell, if any, or spells, if any, are currently affecting it.
Yeah. It's basically a combination of Like it's basically just enchanted with the scrying spell,
Mm.
but then there is like some tinkering with the item involved, which places a condition on it.
Yeah. So if you're a humanoid creature or any creature touched by the madness of a demon lord, then it shows something different
Yes.
instead of what Arhand is no see.
Yes. Well, who knows? Has our hand been touched by the madness of a demon lord without knowing?
That's also possible.
Who was talking about lichdom?
It was just paraphrasing. It was just theoretical crafting, theorizing. It's all.
Well, but now that you have acquired the pearl,
And do not forget, he did carry, way in the beginning, a book in which the spirit of some kind of demon or devil was imprisoned, which is now in the care of the Duke, because it was, I think, the spirit of one of his enemies.
yes.
So, although the spells he learned from it are gone, but one can argue that for a brief moment he was touched by some kind of evil entity that tried to tempt him, by the way.
Okay, you can, from this position, now also not only see what's to the side of the city, but also what's behind the city. And what's behind the city is like the landscape is basically a mountainous or hilly tundra. Um, maybe before we end the session, can Awan give me one more Arcana or History check or something like that? Yeah, I'm assuming Arcana, History, maybe Religion would also work.
Well, Arcana and History, because of the knowledge domain he has expertise in and is a plus 11. Whilst in Religion, he's only proficient, but has a plus 8. Would the information differ depending on which skill he uses?
I'd say not really. It's just where you learned it from. In this case.
Well, in that case, let's keep it with Arcana.
On one hand, it's a crit fail. On the other hand, crit fails don't really exist with skill rolls, so it's just a 12. How would that knowledge be common enough? I mean, you were taught in a wizard school. You probably know a bit about planes.
Well, not in a wizard school. He was
but by a wizard.
Yeah, his tutor was a wizard who took who somehow divined his gift and offered his parents, the parents of Arahant, to take care of Arahant and helping him develop his gift of divination.
So, you remember that you took a test, or basically your master gave you some kind of quiz, and you remember one question where you didn't know the answer, and you were probably told later, but still can't remember it. And it is, and the question is: there's a very easy way to determine whether a region within the demonic waste is currently controlled by a demon lord or not. Why did I move down the pillars already? Anyway, what is that way? You can't remember the answer to that question, but you know that there's a very easy way to determine, or a very obvious way. Once you know it. Well, and I think we will end the session with that. With you just looking at that at that tundra.
Okay. Still wondering, what was it? What was it? What was it? If only I could remember it again.
Because that might actually help by determining the danger levels. Anyway, you may now say your goodbyes.
Take care, everyone, and
Exactly.
bless you.
Thank you.
And for the rest of you, take care, and until the next one.
Bye bye.
Until the next one, have a good one, everyone.